Welcome. Today's video is on sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction we have already discussed in the previous video, number 23. Now, this reproduction in organisms can be sexual. Sexual means where male and female gametes are involved. In lower organism also, in fungus also, the lower organisms, a sexual reproduction takes place, male and female gametes. Even in Chlamydomonas, which is a microscopic alga, there is sexual reproduction. The gametes are smaller, whereas in human beings, two types of gametes are there. Before I start this portion of the chapter, please subscribe my channel. Mm, and share it with the students of class 12th. Now, the first phase in the life of a organism is the juvenile phase. Juvenile phase is the early phase in plants' life also. Where there is no flower, there is no. It is a vegetative phase. Only the uh, plants is growing vegetatively. Photosynthesis and accumulation of resources are going on, and this flowering, before flowering phase, this phase is called the vegetative phase. So the organism during this phase prepares itself for the coming reproductive season, because every species continuity of life is must for every species. So continuity, for continuity it will reproduce, as we have discussed already. So what happens during these? In animals also there is reproductive phase. The life of a female starts with the sexual life. Sexual phase starts with menstrual cycle, after the puberty, and this menstrual cycle prepares the female for the reproductive phase. In some goats, sheep, cows, there is estrous cycle, whereas in primates, human beings, monkeys, there is menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle, these organisms, they can reproduce throughout the year, whereas in estrous cycle there is a period, certain period, where the organism is ready to reproduce. So uh, the the organisms are cows, sheep, etc. estrous cycle. We'll study this in details in the next videos, coming videos. Next video will be on reproduction in flowering plants, and then there will be in animals and human beings also will study. So the event in sexual reproduction, since fertilization is a very important event, तो fertilization से before and after, meaning pre and post fertilization events में three categories में will we study the sexual reproduction. The first is pre-fertilization event. So what happens before fertilization? The organism is preparing itself for the um, sexual reproduction. So the gametes are produced, yani the gametogenesis. The phase is pre-fertilization events. May the first phase will be gametogenesis, and then there will be gamete transfer. So what is gametogenesis? The process of formation of gametes. What are gametes? Gametes are haploid. You know, the diploid cells or the meiocytes, which undergo cell division, meiotic division, and produce haploid cells. For example, in human beings, the chromosome number is 46. So the diploid cell have 46 and the haploid gametes will have 23. So the gametes will carry the genome of the parents, means 23 chromosome from one parent, 23 from the other parent. So genome is coming from the parents in the gametes. Now these gametes, you can see in Chlamydomonas, both the gametes are of same type, isogametes, whereas in human beings sperm is much smaller than the egg. Egg is larger. In lower organism, there is also male and female gamete, the heterogametes, isogametes and heterogametes. In plants also, there are two types of parents, means male and female plants may be different. For example, uh, the papaya must have seen, they are called unisexual flowers. The plants are called the dioecious plants means two types of plants are there. Male plant is a different, female plant is different. Whereas in monoecious plants, both male and female reproductive organs are in the same plant. Cucurbit must have seen. Okay. Hermaphrodite in animals, hermaphrodite is the condition. Male and female sex organs are found in the same organism. For example, earthworm. Earthworm has male and female sex organs in the same body. You can see a dioecious plant, male and female, Anthridium and Archegonium produced on the different plant bodies. So the dioecious plants are there, monoecious plants are there. There is a one example of a plant, Kara. It's also give, the picture is given in your book also. It has male and female gamete produced on the same body of the plant. So Kara is the organism, whereas in cockroach you can see the male, such a small animal, male and female cockroaches are different. So the hermaphrodite condition is also there, and the sexes are separate also. And higher animals may, of course, the male and female are different. So the flowers, generally you must have seen bisexual flowers. Male part of the flower means, here you can see the stamen and the pistil in the same flower. So this kind of flower is a bisexual flower, whereas in some plants you will see only male flower and female flower. So papaya, I've given you an example earlier. So what happens? The male part produces the pollen. Inside the pollen there is a male gamete, and inside the pistil ovules the female gamete or the egg will be produced, and the anther, the pollen will be released from anther and they will be transferred to the stigma, and this process is called pollination. So after pollination, the gametes will be transferred. Here in this picture you can see the cockroach and Kara also, and a bisexual flower. This picture is from your NCERT textbook. The different examples of bisexual and hermaphrodite and uh, unisexual or plants are also given in this picture. So the uh, pre-fertilization events, you can see the gametes are the organisms, they will be producing different gametes. Now coming back to the transfer of gametes, the second portion is transfer of gametes. The first portion was gametogenesis. Now, once the gametes are produced, they will be transferred. In plants, the pollen will be transferred from stigma, from anther to the stigma. This process is called pollination. There can be cross pollination, there can be self pollination. Self pollination if the pollen is from the same flower, and cross pollination if is of pollen is from a different a flower of the same species. Say in a field, crop field, so many plants are growing and cross pollination is there. So agents of cross pollination can be the flies. Your hands can also transfer the pollen from one flower to the other. The animals and honeybees, you must have heard, they carry out this pollination. In this Chlamydomonas, you can see mostly you will see the male gamete will be motile. Motile means it can move from one place to another, and the medium is water. Through water they will move and to the female gamete. Now the process is fertilization. The fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilization. Now once the male gamete reaches the female gamete, it fertilizes. The both the DNA of both is combined in the resultant cell, but which is called the zygote. So the zygote is produced. It can, the fertilization can be external inside the outside the body of the organism, or it can be internal inside the body of the female. Mostly in the female body. It in human beings it takes place in the fallopian tubes. So external fertilization in water, mostly frogs you have seen, the frog lives in water. Now this zygote, what is the zygote carrying? Zygote is carrying DNA from both the parents. 23 in case of humans, 23 from male and 23 from female, and the DNA of both the parents is combined in the zygote. So gamete fuses to produce the zygote. After this zygote formation in human beings, it's the phase is very short. Embryo formation starts, means formation of development of embryo from the zygote. Embryogenesis takes place inside the body of the female. This is called when the female gives birth to the young ones, it is called the vivipary, whereas when it lays eggs, that is called the oviparous. Oviparous animals like hens, etc. So the embryogenesis takes place. Now in plants also, the embryogenesis means the growth of the embryo. It takes place inside the seed. Inside the seed, ovule was there that will grow into an embryo. We'll study it in the next video. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. And the seed is covered with a thick layer or food layer, which is called the pericarp. Why? Because seed is protected inside that. When it gets the soil, it will germinate. The food stored in around the seed is for the seed. We have conveniently eating it because it is sweeter, but the nature has stored this food for the seed to germinate. This issue, there are a lot of sugars around this seed. So when the seed falls, along with the fruit, seed falls in the ground until it gets nourishment from the soil. What is the source of nutrition? This stored food around the seed. So here you can see a mango fruit, a thick pericarp is there, epicarp, endocarp, mesocarp. So this is the um embryogenesis. So this was all about sexual reproduction in organisms. We will study in details sexual reproduction in flowering plants in the next video. This is chapter number 2. So I hope you have understood the whole lesson, introductory lesson it was. So please subscribe and share my video with the students of class 12. I have uploaded already 23 videos uh, on first 2 chapters of genetics, and mm, the the first portion of this chapter also. So this is the 24th video. So please subscribe and share. Thank you very much.